Welcome to Board Game Archaeologists, where we play time-worn games from the past. I'm Hunter.
I'm Rob.
And today, we're looking at Hands Down.
Hands Down from 1964, another Marvin Glass, and also with Hank Kramer. The game was originally created by Ideal, and then it came out by Hasbro. And this version from 1987 or 9 is from Milton Bradley. So this game has been produced by a number of different companies over the years, and came out in 64. So came out when I was around 2.
The goal of the game is to have as many points by the end as possible, and you get points by having pairs of cards.
Yep, and the game really consists of the Slam-O-Matic, the famous Slam-O-Matic, that has looked pretty much exactly the same since 1964, and a deck of cards. And there's 4 sets of each numbers 1 through 10 with a joker and a blank. So if you ever lose a card, you can always replace it with this. And other versions have come with 2 jokers and 2 of these to replace 2 more.
And starting out, each player gets 4 cards. And this is one of those games where you need to have at least 3 people, ideally 4 with the Slam-O-Matic.
Right, I forgot about that. It's also a 6 and above or 5 and above, depending upon where you're reading it. And you really can't play with 2 people because the whole idea is to beat people to the punch. So if it's just 2 of you, unless you're a mind reader, you're not going to ever beat anybody to the punch. So you have to have 3 or 4 players. Obviously, it's better with 4.
And starting out, whoever's left of the dealer will go first. And going first essentially is where, you have your first 4 cards. You'll draw a card, and if you have a duplicate, you'll slam your hand down, and then it will become a race at that point with every other person. And the last person who puts their hand down, it'll be obvious because their little token will be above everyone else's.
Yep. And that person loses, the winner of that thing would draw the card from that person. And the idea of this game is not to get rid of your cards. You want the pairs, but the more cards you have, the more opportunity you have to get pairs. And you play until the deck is out. And so there's 41 cards. And I think 41?
Yeah.
Yep, 41 cards. So it's not like you're going to have a short game by only playing these 4 cards. You're going to play through the whole deck no matter what. So the whole goal is to try to win and get cards from people.
Yeah, and getting those pairs is what it's all about, because for every pair, you'll have 1 point. And I think, as you said, having the joker in your hand at the end is also worth 2 points.
2 points, right. And part of that's a burn because you can't really get rid of it unless somebody draws it from your hand.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the gameplay right there. It's not just, you draw, oh, I have a duplicate. A lot of the time, the game wants you to kind of try and fake people out and try and deceive those so that they'll have to give up their cards.
Right. So if I draw and I don't get a pair, but I want to fake that I have a pair, as long as I don't touch the plastic, if anybody else touches the plastic, I get to draw a card from their hand. And that's like a free win. If I touch the plastic, I have to discard a card.
Yeah, because it's like a little too far. It's like it's only a trick up until you actually do it.
Right. So there is a defense to the game, and part of it's acting and drama, which is kind of fun. But it's a good, fun, easy game.
Yeah, and it kind of bleeds into my pros and cons with the game, is that before I was familiar with this, I was familiar with Spoons, which is another game very much like this, where it'll become very hectic when people start slapping their hands down on the table. And you'd really be surprised at how, especially with the drinking aspect, when people's perceptions get messed with, it becomes very high energy, and I've very rarely seen it turn into a bad time for a group.
Right. Again, a big pro for me is it's a 1964 game made of plastic. I'm a huge fan of plastic. I love the design. Anything made with colors and these kind of designs from the 60s and 70s is near and dear to my heart. So I'm a huge fan of it. Easy game to learn and play. We didn't have any instructions, so we just watched a couple videos on YouTube and went, okay, that's what that's for, and okay, that's what that's for, and it took 5 minutes to learn. But super easy game. I got this from my sister-in-law, who's a retired school teacher, and I understand why they used it.
Yeah, no, I think overall it's a pretty all right game, especially with kids and stuff. I feel like it's a great way to learn numbers or something like that.
It is. The only con I have is I like the artwork from the original stuff better than the 80s and 90s stuff. So if I could go back and get another version of this, I'd get that old box from 64. It'll be more close to me.
Well, thanks for watching.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about us, check us out at toyarchaeology.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.